back in time and stop the petrification from happening. Because now he knows what did it. His plan is now to build a successful time machine, go back in time, and stop the petrification from happening.
So back to the beginning.
So in turn, erasing the entire series, he doesn't care.
So
because the next question from his friends were, so what about all the friends you made? And what about all this? And they're like, and he's like, well, I guess we're gonna find out. Get excited, and that's it. And that's where it ends completely at chapter 232.
Right, but at that point, it's like, per example, I'm not mentioning any film series or anything.
Yeah.
Let's just pick someone, a man or woman, doesn't matter which. Something happens, and to their partner, they just disappear.
Yeah.
And then you have a new relationship with another person. You then have children with that person.
The end game situation.
Yeah, exactly. In that point,
who do you to go back in the past or not?
Yeah, exactly. Do you love your new partner, wife, husband, doesn't matter,
that's the thing, he
and your children, or do you want to go back in time?
Senku likes all of this advancements, but you have to remember at the end of it all, it should not have happened. In fact, the alien hive mind thing made of all these devices, after Senku explains the whole the way humans are and stuff like that, it regrets petrifying them because it's done this to other races, and it's confused on why humans don't like being turned into stone because it makes them immortal.
I don't think any creature would like to be made into stone.
No, but petrification is immortality.
So basically, the swallows are definitely all dead now because they wouldn't be able to count. They wouldn't live that long anyway.
No, you don't need to directly count. It's described as staying conscious helps you break out, but you don't have to stay conscious. You can be revived if you went unconscious, but it just basically will mean you'll be confused.
But also in that sense, you can't be one of the ones that was in, say, in a skyscraper when.
I mean, there was a guy.
We're talking about plate tectonics.
There was a guy in the middle. There was a magician. There was a magician that was one of the main characters that was in that was doing a show or something like that.
He disappeared.
And when he woke up, obviously 3,000 years later, he thought he was being pranked, and he was going to try to call his manager, but then realised his phone, closed, everything was gone. And he looked around, and it's like,
so you're turned to stone. Okay, the human themselves are perfectly turned to stone.
Yeah.
But not what they're wearing or any gadgets they've got on them at the time.
No.
What about internal implants? As in, like I've got worming.
It's not explained.
Or person with artificial limbs.
I'm assuming, well, petrification has a healing effect. When you get unpetrified, it heals.
Right, so you wouldn't need it. Right? No, yeah. Carry on, please.
So Tsukasa early on in the series tries to kill Senku by literally chopping his neck, not cutting his head off, but hitting a certain nerve in the neck to just kill you instantly. Or severing a certain nerve in the neck, kill you instantly.
I don't know if there is that one. Well, obviously, when you get your head cut off at the back, it's going to.
It's like there's something there.
Yeah.
But he gets saved because there's still a little.
Oh no, it wouldn't kill. I think it'll paralyse you, wouldn't it?
No, I think there's something you can. I don't know. There's something you can hit in it, whatever. But so this
isn't one of the ones that he turns up on the screen to tell you how to. Okay.
He's temporarily dead for a while.
Okay, yeah.
The Senku's temporarily dead, but then his friends they think he's dead. But then his friends, the two friends he's with at the time, because this is earlier on.
The Jock Plus.
No, not the Jock Plus. The Jock Plus is the villain at this point.
Oh, okay, right, with everyone. Okay, yeah.
His friend and his friend's girlfriend realise that he has a little bit of petrification above his neck. So if they unpetrify that,
he'll die.
No, if they unpetrify that, it'll fix his neck. Because unpetrifying has a healing process. When something gets unpetrified,
it heals.
Healed.
So again, back to what I said.
So that small bit of petrification above his neck was enough to then heal his neck to make it so he wasn't dead.
So what I said is totally irrelevant because if you've got an artificial leg, an implant,
it might heal if you
a fake heart, or
it might heal.
It will heal itself. So you come out petrification as long as you can concentrate long enough to survive that.
I told you don't need to be conscious.
No, concentrate. because you said if you're not conscious, you wake up
You wake up confused.
confused. Isn't it?
You'll wake up basically literally in the same, thinking you're in the same situation as you were. It'll be.
Oh, I
less
see what you
than a
mean in that
second to you.
sense. It's what? Sorry.
It'll be like less than a second to you. As I told you, that magician guy was literally bowing after he was in a show. In a show when he was turned to stone.
And they thought he's pranking them.
So when he broke out of the stone, obviously looking over a mountain now because of where he's drifted.
He's like, what the
He's like, am I being pranked? I need to call my manager. And then realised, yeah.
But also you should realise he's naked.
Yeah, but the second thought, he didn't realise it. Well, he wasn't. He was looking straight forward, and he got straight up afterwards to look around. He didn't bother looking down.
No, didn't mean that, dude. I mean the fact that.
Yes, you'd know. Yes,
the first thing you
feel it.
do is like you're looking at a mountain, thinking, "I've been pranked. I better call my." Oh my god! What there's?
Yeah, he did. He did
probably had a cloak. Is a magician? He would have had a cloak or a cape.
No, it would have all deteriorated.
Sorry? No, but I'm saying in the beginning.
Well, yeah, no, it would have all deteriorated.
Yeah, but did he have?
Yeah,
it would have like draped over him or something.
It would have originally, yeah. Well, back 3,700 years ago, yeah, it would have been. But now, that's gone.
Unless he had the cloak of.
I mean, Senku was wearing a lab coat.
Strange.
Senku was wearing a high school uniform and a lab coat over that when he got turned into stone, and that was all deteriorated by the time he got out.
What about if he was wearing something like what protects you from radiation?
I don't know. Has that seen? No, that would have also probably deteriorated.
But lead lined?
No, maybe not. We don't know. It's not a case of we know. It's not a case of if we know or not. It's not. Not everything is thoroughly explained because it doesn't need to be. For the plot, it doesn't need to be explained so thoroughly.
Okay.
I mean, there's a Buddha statue made of bronze that's still around.
Is the bronze?
700 years later.
But is that real Buddha though?
Yeah, it's a real bronze statue of a Buddha. Yeah.
No, also it's not Buddha turned to bronze.
No, it's a real
because he was.
No, it's a statue. It's a bronze statue that was a Japanese shrine. That deteriorated a little bit, but it was still standing. And it was how Senku and his two original friends first got their actual bearings of where they properly were in the start of the series.
Because as far as they're concerned, they could go to
and also
Tokyo.
Something Senku realised quite early on as well is that he made a sextant trying to figure out where he was. But it didn't work because the North Star had moved. He was thinking on the cardinal directions.
Yeah, I know what you mean. North, south,
North
east,
Star
west.
that's meant to be true north has moved and is no longer true north.
You're talking about
because the poles have shifted.
No, what? No, procession. Procession?
Precision.
No, procession. Basically, the Earth does move, wobbles.
The Earth moves.
The North Star is not actually
true north anymore. Because the poles have shifted.
Oh, yeah, but they shift all the time.
Yes, but the poles. But 3,700 years. The poles have shifted.
So the south is actually now the north, and the north is actually the south now.
No, not like fully flipped. I said shifted, isn't they've moved.
Oh, what's it mean? Yeah, but yes, that is perfect science.
So they've exactly.
They shift. Yes,
basically.
Okay, they're not flipped. Yeah, yes.
So the North Star is no longer true north, and then after that he fixes his sextant.
Is the moon? How far is the moon away at this point?
3,700 years would do nothing to the distance on the moon.
The moon's moving away at something very small rate from the Earth.
Yeah, and it would take millions of years for it to separate from Earth's orbit.
No, not separate, but once it gets to a certain point, it then stops the majesty of the moon because what are we lucky to have at the moment? They never had in the past.
Still millions of years away. There's no point.
Okay.
Ooh, that brings up a very interesting thing in my own.
Can I just ask a simple question here?
That brings up a very interesting question in my own stories.
Yeah, what's that? Asteroid?
If I'm meant to be set millions of years in the future, what happens to the sun and moons on planets that have them?
Well, the sun will outlive the Earth by millions of years anyway.
No, I meant the fact that the moon, with the moon drifted away.
Yes.
Well, I could just say, moons drifted away from these planets, and
yes,
most civilizations that have a sun use Dyson spheres anyway.
At which point, there's no need for a moon.
Because if something's not...
At that point, once you build a Dyson sphere...
Obviously, as I told you before, I'm going to switch from Dr. Stone to what I'm thinking of now. I've already told you about what I'm doing before, about 10 million years in the future. The whole futuristic society with constant wars. and now religion, gods, and magic, because they've existed the whole time.
Yeah.
But now it's came to a halt because some ancient god that's been sealed for 10 million years has awoken, and prophecy states he's meant to destroy the entire multiverse in one go the second he does, but he hasn't, and instead has started to take over a couple of small realities out really far off, and it's confusing the absolute living hell out of everyone who's currently alive.
Because they think he's supposed to do
Because
something.
they think he's supposed to wipe everyone out, take the core of reality out of reality zero, and destroy the entire multiverse in one go.
But he doesn't.
But he didn't, which confused people. Why didn't he?
But isn't this like Loki with He Who Can't Be Named? He was actually turned out to be the good guy because what we know in the future.
Oh no, he didn't. No, he's not a
Marvel.
good guy or anything. But
no, but this one was he's evil, but his intentions were good because he knew there's more evil people.
No.
Okay.
Back when he was sealed, well, he is Calamity. He's called Calamity or Exodia Dawnbreaker, but that name's not mentioned anymore at all. That name's been lost to history.
Okay.
Because he was called the Great Mage Calamity. He was the strongest person with magical abilities 10 million years ago, to the point where he literally could unleash something that could turn a place's sky red, its grass black, and everyone around him under his control within seconds.
Okay, yeah.
And that was called a great calamity. If that happened to somewhere, it would say calamity. People would say calamity has befallen that place.
Is that the biggest word? A calamity. Calamity is someone who trips over a word.
Yeah, a calamity has fallen upon a place. It's then considered unredeemable. Because Calamity could just flat out leave that reality and it'd still be under his control. Completely and utterly. Everyone there, instantly under his control with a snap of his fingers.
Yeah, not the snapping.
But the things that mark it is the red sky and all plant life going from green to black. It marks the fact that it's under control.
Right, okay, but
it doesn't change.
No. Is the plant life is now turned from green to black? Is it still alive?
Yeah.
So how does it? Why plants are green for a reason?
Yes, but it changes to black for different.
But how do they absorb? Plants are green for
changes to black to absorb the red light.
Oh, ultraviolet. No, infrared light.
It's just red. The sky is completely red.
Yeah, infrared
at this point.
light. Okay.
It's not infrared because infrared is that red light?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Infrared's beyond our spectrum.
Well, there you go then. Boom, it's infrared light.
Predator. Sorry, you hate that word.
Well, I more did it for cool effect, but there you go. That's a way to explain it. But basically, at that point, every normal human has, because androids did not exist 10 million years ago. They were on the cusp of existing, but didn't.
Okay.
Because I told you before, 10 million years ago was basically our current society.
Yeah. So we're just talking about 10 million years in the future now.
But we have no, not right now. I'm talking about current society.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the sense of it.
Okay.
actual recorded history.
Dude.
No, that's fine. Actual recorded history goes back hundreds of millions of years.
We've been talking for ages.
Actual history goes back over 100 million years, and even further back in a place called the Ancient Isles. But
is it still Earth though? Was this different world?
Reality Zero is my equivalent of Earth, but it changes.
But it's not Earth.
So.
Okay.
I've told you there's different realities. So basically, there's planets upon planets upon planets in every reality, but most of which have been destroyed. Most realities are now just single planet entire universes.
Okay.
Because.
So what happens? The resources of the planet, have they stopped breeding?
I told you before. Over years and years of genetic engineering, people don't need to reproduce biologically anymore. Humans are just created.
Oh well, that takes the fun then, doesn't it?
Yes, I told you that they're created from a genetic sample. It's not.
But then again, what about if you were created in a laboratory?
Biological things like that can still happen because they can still make it happen if they choose to.
Oh, okay, they can. Okay.
It's like the fact that Calamity and the One were brothers. But that was because they were created that way by the holy creator guy. I forgot the name. I forgot why I named him, but that was because they were created that way. There was 3 original gods.
Yeah.
Back 100 million years ago, there's 3 original gods. There was the people. They don't have names.
You need a drink.
Right, because their names have been lost to history. But in the actual texts that still do exist, they're referred to as the ancient god of wrath, the god of justice, and the mage king. Calamity. So
god of wrath.
No, there's 4.
Okay.
There is the ancient.
4.
There is the representation of there is the god of justice, aka the ancient representation of justice.
Yeah.
Wrath, evil.
Wrath, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wrath, evil, and the mage king.
Yeah.
Or magic, the representation.
So
of
you're
magic,
talking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse?
They're the 4 original primordial gods.
Yeah, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Not the apocalypse, because they don't cause apocalypses. Justice, the original justice from God knows how long ago, stood as the original pillar of justice and order within the entire within everything.
So Judge Dredd is that's the judge.
Basically, yeah. Justice is judge, jury, and executioner.
Wrath would be Judge Death.
Wrath is the pure embodiment of rage, pain, and suffering.
Yeah, Judge Death.
In the entire multiverse.
So that's 2 judges.
And evil. Well.
Yep.
Evil, obviously.
He basically wants to kill every human on the planet because he considered humans.
The ancient Isles had ancient humans, which had the original
so
ancient.
What's the other 2 gods called?
There's the god of wrath, god of justice, the god of evil, and the mage king.
Oh, wait a minute. God of evil.
The mage king isn't an official god, but is recognized as a godlike figure in ancient in the ancient texts.
I'm trying to think about Dredd. I'm trying to think about judges and Judge Dredd, who would be.
Yeah, there's not really. Justice is the only really judge. The others are representations of emotions or power.
Yeah, but that was death. Judge Evil.
In the sense of the mage king was just a human that had the most magical power at the time and made a deal with the primordial god of evil and basically became the same level of power as a god. So he was called the Mage King for a while until eventually he was defeated, but descendants of him kept his power. One of them was Calamity. In the same way that each god has a descendant that keeps going down. Every one of them, other than the god of evil, but I'll get into that in a minute.
But let's just say, like Highlander.
What do you mean? I've never
Highlander. Highlander, you know where my sword come from and my trench coat, but I've been.
What is the sword passed down every generation? Like?
No, he doesn't die. They're immortal.
Oh, okay, so he doesn't die. No, the God of Evil.
But they come from a different planet where they could die.
The God of Evil isn't immortal. It's just the fact that. Right, the God of Wrath originally was. So these gods did not have human. The only one out of the original 4 godly figures in the ancient text that was human was the Mage King. The others were literally
magician, like.
The others, the Mage King isn't just the guy with godlike levels of power in magic.
Yeah, but isn't a mage a magician?
No.
What does mage mean in Dungeons and Dragons?
I'm pretty sure mage comes from magus, which is, well, I don't know what magus means. It's something in Latin, but
okay.
Basically, okay, they're the most powerful wizard.
Wizard.
But I'm calling him a mage because it sounds better.
Wizard and mage, same thing. Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Thank you. I understand.
It sounds better.
Yeah. So he's a wizard.
Basically, he is the most powerful magic user ever and could go toe to toe with the gods, despite the fact that he is much smaller than them.
Doesn't matter about size, does it?
Right. The evil god is when I think of 100 million years ago, I mean literally basically medieval equivalent people. These are people that have basically medieval equivalent technology. This is really important because the evil god, Stardream, is a supercomputer.
Okay.
It's a purple humanoid figure that is encased inside a supercomputer. But even back then, he built the body. He was building the body back then, and he put himself inside of it to make it seem like to do stuff, but I haven't figured that exactly out yet. And the God of Wrath and the God of Wrath and the God of Justice are literally, basically, like 50-foot tall Titanic, angel-looking, biblically accurate angel-looking people. Because they are.
What's an angel?
When I say biblically accurate, I mean like
wings
angels that are biblically accurate, as in like tons of eyes, wings, stuff like that. But they are still humanoid shapes, just gigantic. So they normally like make themselves invisible. They hide themselves because humanity is scared of them.
So do they? How do they hide themselves?
They just make themselves invisible.
Okay.
Well, gods have powers.
Powers, not technology.
No, it's not technology. The only one that seemed to have technological prowess was Stardream, which is strange, considering he shouldn't have any of that back then. But I will get into that because I'm going to do something with time travel at some point in my lore. I really want to, but I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. But I want time travel, and I think I'm going to do it. Just something to do with Stardream, time traveling, and getting the knowledge before he's meant to have it, so then he kicks off the whole thing. But
can I just butt in for a second?
Yes.
When you talk about time travel, just like you should have a drink, Josh. You've been
I'm fine.
Dude,
I've had a drink.
Okay, right. Have a drink. That's okay.
But yeah, like
what? No, can I just?
Yeah, about time travel.
Time travel.
I will make it work.
Yeah, but if you built a time travel device, what would you now? You're the first person that could build a time travel device in. Wait, you can sit. Don't sit on the sword.
Well, currently,
she has no name.
If it's gonna happen in like my lore at this current moment,
no, you invent it. You invent it. What would you? Where would you go? Don't think it's a time space machine.
Me personally, in real life, where would I go?
Yeah, because God, it's time space machine. You basically build a TARDIS.
Yeah.
Because if you travel in time, the Earth's no longer there.
See, I don't know. I've got a couple of stupid answers. Like I'd go back in time and I'd tell myself about some funny stuff, and certain obviously historical events.
Oh yeah. See.
Well, I'd give my kid self the biggest flex in the entirety of ever. I'd tell my kid self how to flip the iceberg on Club Penguin.
Okay.
Sounds stupid, but that was a mystery for over a decade. If I knew that back then, and I could prove that was how you did it, imagine how instantaneously internet famous I could become. I'd be known as the guy who knew how to flip the iceberg on Club Penguin. That's sick!
But, yeah, that is sick. But, the same sense, same sort of idea. I'd go back in time to freak people out. Hear me out.
Yeah.
As I cosplay a lot, not just as Wick and Deadpool and other people.
Oh yeah, go back in time and tell Ryan Reynolds to do Deadpool too.
No, I'd go back in time before Ryan Reynolds came out to do publicity adverts for the new Deadpool before it's even thought of.
Yeah, okay.
I was pointing going, who's Deadpool?
Can we take one thing from Deadpool though? Can we stop Ryan Reynolds from doing Green Lantern?
Oh, he tried. That's what Deadpool 2 was all about.
Yes,
Did you see that?
Yeah, I know. But I don't know how I'm going to do it.
He shoots him in the head. He literally...
I don't know how I'm going to do a time machine, but I'm aware of the zero space, which is how you travel to different realities because you go through that, exists outside of space and time.
What is this, zero space or...
Think of it as hyperspace from Star Wars.
No, I can think beyond space from Babylon 5.
I don't know what that is.
It's hyperspace, but beyond hyperspace,
right.
If you see.
Zero space is something you enter.
It's the same thing, but
you physically know you're there. It's a long tunnel that is constantly moving. It looks like it's constantly moving.
Wormhole.
Basically, yeah, but you can just sit in it freely and just travel along it.
Contact with Jodie Foster had that.
Because that's what you basically do. It's basically you go into a long space tunnel to travel between places, and some gods occasionally go there to talk because it's easier. Also, 2 gods fight there at one point because it's the one place where no permanent damage will ever be caused, or not easily caused, because it's just a ton of zero crystals out there that you're floating on. So that are the only like
What's
malleable...
the zero crystal? Sorry,
a thing that contains a lot of energy and it powers a lot of technology. It's basically a supercharged crystal that contains a lot of power. But they come from zero space, and the way people normally find them is because zero space occasionally gets tears or holes, and these crystals fly through them, crash into the surface of a place, and then people collect the crystals or mine them. Obviously, they collect the crystals out of these craters, and then they refine them and use them in technology. There's different levels of crystals. There's zero crystals, perfect, and then there's perfect zero crystals.
Not Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, Iron Man, not Iron Man. Marvel. Wakanda.
In the sense of their metal they use.
Yeah, vibranium.
No, because it's not. It's still crystal at the end of the day. It's not going to survive as armor very well or weapons.
No, but vibranium didn't it? Goes into plants, and that's...
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, I guess. But it's like, when it crashes in a place around it, it turns surrounding material into zero crystal. So, some people in Reality Zero, especially, if zero crystal crashes into Reality Zero, it is left for a couple of months so it can generate more of itself and grow across an area, in which it will then be mined up.
Okay.
But... there is actually a reality at one point that has had so many zero crystals crash into it and spread that the entire ground is made of zero crystal.
So can that now be mined?
Mined, yes.
Yes.
The people from Reality Zero are trying to figure out which reality this is. They don't know where it is because the guy that knows where it is won't tell them.
Okay.
Because he thinks it's a beautiful paradise that looks very nice, so he doesn't want it to be completely destroyed.
No.
So he's not going to tell them. But they don't really care because they have enough anyway. And if they want more, they'll ask one of the gods to go get some for them, or they'll just go into zero space themselves and collect a bunch of crystals. They don't care. But basically, I think if I'm going to do time travel, I'm going to make it... Right. The faster you travel, the further you go through zero space. The faster you travel, the further distance you go.
Well, that sounds feasible in science.
So, but I said it exists out of space and time.
Beyond, yeah.
The further thought it might, and it's travel. This makes travel almost instant because you can go into zero space in one place and be in a reality within the next second. But because everyone goes at basically a normal speed.
Right, but what happens at this point?
So if someone went at like hypersonic speeds within zero space, they'll travel forward in time. Time is relative and moves as fast as you move. In zero space.
That is a perfect analogy, Josh.
You start reversing, you'll go back in time. You reverse.
No, if you start reversing, you won't go back in time. You go forward in time so fast that then you go back in time.
Yeah. So currently, someone has the idea of this. There's I'll say it's a scientist on a research team or something, because there will be a research team developing time related stuff, because the Reality Zero government, the main government of the entire multiverse, because I had a government. I made it so a government literally reigns over the main 10 realities, and everyone else kind of tries to get to zero and contact them because they have the most military force, the most influence, the most power, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they are a super government, basically.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yep.
They want...
Illuminati?
I guess, yeah. Everyone has to go through them to do anything major.
Okay.
They also monitor wars and stuff like that. So basically, if you want to invent time travel, you've got to go through them. But
what if you invent time travel without telling them? So you could change time. People
in Reality Zero, higher ups in Reality Zero, have close contact with gods. And gods, and there are gods that are living within zero space. And which one of them, the Traveler, who basically doesn't control it, but he lives there and he can tell when people go in and out of it. Anyone he don't know, flags up to them. They're not gone, get flagged.
Okay.
Basically. This is after Reality Zero. This is actually after the Reality Zero government recovered from being almost wiped out by the Legion of Reality Destruction. Actually, I'll mention them. They've tried to cause wars for a long time, and they have almost similar forces to the government of Reality Zero, because they are under the control of the ancient evil god Stardream, and have been since the start. They've been for over 100 million years. Their goal has been to wipe everyone out, or to study Calamity, because they don't want him awakening and doing their job. They want to wipe out humanity and reign over what's left.